Hi everyone. Make sure that you have the handout available that's labeled Price Elasticity of Demand as you listen to this recording. And you'll notice at the top of the handout you have a table there that's labeled Exhibit 1. Alright, and this table is meant to reflect the estimated demand schedule for wheat in the United States. And you'll notice there that I have gone ahead and calculated the total revenue, and I got those numbers just simply by multiplying the price of wheat by the number of bushels in order to be able to get the total revenue. Alright, and then from there you'll notice that we're asked a question which says to fill in the total revenue schedule, and then from there we're asked, is the demand schedule elastic or inelastic between $1 and $2, between $2 and $3, and how can you tell? In other words, we can tell whether the demand schedule is elastic or inelastic in those ranges even before we go ahead and calculate the price elasticity of demand coefficient. Alright, so let's take the range between $1 and $2. Alright, you'll notice there, when price goes up between $1 and $2, notice how total revenue goes down. In other words, there's a negative relationship between price and total revenue. Alright, right there, that tells us, we're dealing with a good that's elastic in that range because we have that negative relationship between price and total revenue. Alright, then between $2 and $3, you'll notice how total revenue actually goes up. In other words, price is going up and total revenue is going up. Therefore, we have a positive relationship between price and total revenue. Well, in that particular instance, we've got to be dealing with a good that's inelastic in that range because we have the positive relationship. Alright, then we're asked to calculate the price elasticity coefficient over the $1 to $2 range and the $2 to $3 range. Alright, and you'll notice there that I've gone ahead and indicated how that calculation would be done and provided the answer there. But it's important to remember how to do a price elasticity of demand calculation, how to go through and calculate an answer. But you'll notice there, between $1 and $2, that we get an answer of negative 1.09. Alright, so therefore, indeed it's elastic because we got a number that's greater than 1. Alright, and remember when you're dealing with price elasticity of demand that we ignore the negative sign. In other words, we're dealing with absolute values. And then between $2 and $3, you'll notice that we get an answer of negative 0.6. Alright, that's an answer that's less than 1, so therefore we're dealing with a range that's inelastic in that case. And remember again, we're dealing with absolute values, so you ignore that negative sign. Alright, and the next part of the exercise says to choose the term elastic, unit elastic, or inelastic. Fill in the blanks below. Alright, so we have a situation where price and total expenditure move in the same direction. Alright, in that particular case, notice we have a positive relationship. Therefore we know that demand has got to be inelastic. Alright, when we have a situation where price and total expenditure, are moving in the opposite directions. In that particular case, we've got a negative relationship, so therefore demand is going to be elastic. Alright, and when total expenditure remains constant, when price changes, in that particular situation, we know that demand is going to be unit elastic. In other words, equal to 1. Alright, now in the table below, using all the information that we've seen above the table, we're asked to fill in the missing entries in the table. Alright, so if we have a price elasticity coefficient of 0.2, and price goes down, therefore we would expect to see a change over total revenue that would go down. In other words, when you're dealing with a situation that's inelastic, you're going to have a relationship that's positive. So if price goes down, total revenue is going to go down. Alright, and if price elasticity is elastic, with 3.5, we know we're going to have a negative relationship. So therefore, if total revenue goes down, that must mean price will have to go up. Alright, in the next example, we have a price elasticity coefficient of 1. Alright, so therefore, if price goes up, we would expect no change in total revenue. All right, next example is a price elasticity coefficient of 0.9. All right, so therefore that's inelastic, and we would expect a positive relationship here. So therefore, if total revenue goes up, okay, we would have expected the price to go up. All right, in the next example, okay, we're told that price has gone down, and there's no change in total revenue. Therefore, the price elasticity coefficient must be equal to 1. All right, and in the last example in the table, price elasticity, the coefficient is 6.3. All right, it's elastic, so therefore, all right, if we expect a negative relationship, therefore if price goes down, total revenue must go up.